I may look like an alien, but I'm just playing an alien on TV. The only alien thing about me is my radioactive mind that operates with thoughts racing beyond your state's prescribed speed limits towards a grandiosity of ideas beyond your flat reality. Today, on behalf of We the People of Earth, an imaginary real free enterprise, we'll discuss the concept, the notion of our intelligent design. Now, when I discuss intelligent design here, I'm not discussing the creationist view of whether an all-powerful God created everything in the universe. I'm contriving to constrict my evaluation of intelligent design to the design of our own intelligence. Were you designed intelligently? Are you intelligent? Are you designed to be intelligent? Well, of course, the question of intelligence is one which is often brought up in our world, which is sort of an entirely intelligently designed different thing. I'm talking about the intelligent design of not just the human as an individual, but as humanity as a whole, where we designed with a higher purpose in mind, with a higher power of us. Well, was there something to the design of us? And then you start to get yourself into the question of intelligence. When did humans acquire intelligence? You see, when you get to the intelligent design question, is when did humans acquire intelligence? And who endowed them with that intelligence? Now, the question of when, I believe, can be pretty much traced to the beginning of human language, which isn't traced back into the caveman times necessarily, although who knows at what time a grunt turned into a yes or a no, but at the inception of human language, when we could begin to describe images, and we could begin our way towards higher learning in mathematics and the science of everything. And that's, well, it probably happened sometime at 10 or 11,000, some number thousands of years ago, somewhere around the time of Adam and Eve. The story of Adam and Eve, though, is not important necessarily as the exact story of the history of us, and I'm not questioning that. It's important as the story by which somehow some intelligence may have designed us to learn. And, well, it's the story that created a Babel tower among all of us that made one simple question so outside of the reach of our own conceptual asking, what if we owned our world together? What would the world be if we had one world, one new world, with a single monetary standard of us, with a currency of us, which I named rainbow stars, which are infinitely expandable with our prosperity, a world in which justice and peace on earth prevails, a world well beyond outside of your human intelligence. It probably needs alien intelligence, or, well, for humans to be intelligent. And there are some simple lessons in the thing. Now, why do I bring the point of aliens up so much? Well, for those of you who may be atheists, I think you'll be hard-pressed to discount the possibility of an alien influence on the advancement of human knowledge and intelligence, the advancement of our own story. You'd be hard-pressed to prove that there were no traveling angels. Now, those could be aliens from another planet, but interestingly, we could actually have angels traveling from our own planet, from our own future, when we capture time travel. And that time travel would not necessarily have to travel physical beings, because using teleportation of, well, let's just call it telepresence, travel across time. We could travel ideas and, well, deliver ourselves our own messages to the past. And that's certainly possible. But the question we have to get to at the whole thing is, what were we intelligently designed for? And I would argue, and this is where it sort of gets biblical, because, well, in the Garden of Eden, they talked about, of course, Adam and Eve, but at the center of the tree of knowledge in life. It's the tree of knowledge in life. Now, we weren't supposed to eat upon that tree of knowledge in life, and yet we did, and yet knowledge is not bad. And well, as we get further into this, and as you start to get into the realization if God is an alien or God is God, either way, he's a capitalist, and, well, he's probably a comedian, if I'm all right. Because, see, the question is, if you get down to the story, there's only two kinds of stories we know. There are tragedies. We all know how tragedies end. It always ends badly. It never ends good. A tragedy is a tragedy because it ends badly. And that's the story. Well, I guess it's not a story if it ends badly. You go through Armageddon, you destroy your world, and Jesus and God comes down and saves you. But what if that was just, well, there's no salvation from them. You were supposed to learn not to destroy your world. The threat of destroying your world with an Armageddon was the threat of not learning how to create a comedy out of us. And see, that's the other part of the story. That's how the game was designed, whether by God as you know him or by aliens. Because, see, here would be the mathematics of an infinite universe. In an infinite universe, there must, almost by definition, be infinite Earths. Well, at least lots of them. And then, with infinite Earths in play, how could it not be possible, well, that other Earths, that other humanities might come to play on our own? In fact, if we really got to act together and said we're going to create power, then if we started to create more power of science and mind, we might decide at some point, beyond exploring space, we'll plant more Earths for the time when we must travel across and away from this planet and take our civilization elsewhere. But the simple question, the simple quest for man in his seeking intelligent design, in seeking his own intelligent design, in standing up his mind to the cosmos and entering the age of light and enlightenment, the central question is that of creating justice and peace on earth. And the only path to creating justice and peace on earth, well, is to wait for that divine intervention. But we, I believe, have the knowledge and the power to intervene ourselves, to create our own judgment day for those things that we may judge. Well, let's try to forgive and forget and move forward to a new world. On September 11th, 2011, the day I'm having this conversation, is sort of a strange time to be having this conversation about peace on earth. But I've asked for many years, would a single person that died in those towers, not willingly and gladly, sacrifice their life for peace on earth for the rest of time for humanity? That's a question I would ask their families on their behalf. What better significance to them, not than killing Osama bin Laden? Oh, thank you, you got him. No, in translating in peace on earth, I envisioned long ago a peace with Al-Qaeda. Many of you would think peace with Al-Qaeda is a crime. Well, Al-Qaeda has already committed the crime against their own religion. A Muslim knows, for to kill one innocent person is if you killed all mankind. Al-Qaeda is the Antichrist of Islam. And, well, there are many antichrists in your world because, well, go look at the real readings of Antichrist, and you will see those Antichrists are those that don't follow Christian values. How many of you soldiers are turning your other cheeks? No. Are you onward Christian soldiers? How is that possible? The only way for a Christian soldier to go onward is to turn one cheek and then turn another. That is the only way onward and forward for a Christian soldier. So if you're sitting around waiting for the Antichrist to appear and to create a new world order, don't worry about it. You're already the Antichrists. You are your own hypocrites. You're all believing your own lie. A lie. See, you're the liars. But you might say I'm lying. There's no possibility of justice and peace on earth. There's no possibility that when we join our own banks together in a single enterprise of the United States and Russia and China and Europe and the Middle East and Africa and all of the nations in the world, and to translate and cancel for those governments into a free enterprise of us, well, that's where it really gets interestingly biblical, because the question is, if you put your eye on the top of that pyramid, how high could we grow that pyramid? How much could we build if we're not building on Muslim mortgages? And isn't it interesting, if you look back at the stories, and this is where the design gets interesting, because it's not just the story of, well, it's not just the story of one Bible, but many Bibles, and the story of our sciences, and most of all, it's the story of now. It's the story that now, on the age of the new millennium, it becomes possible for a single idea to spread, for a single man, well, he doesn't really have to spread new ideas. He just needs to make you realize the ideas you already know. He just needs to let you have a path to unleashing your knowledge together, to merging your interest in common cause and purpose, and to finding a way so that your greed is good for everyone to benefit from advancing the prosperity of humanity, and for building a better civilization, for building more food for people, for building housing for people, for building security, and for building a life for a future. Well, you're going to have to get ready for the future where jobs start to go away. At some point in time, our technology progress advances so much, we all have our own personal robots. What happens then? How do we make money? Well, how do we report our own personal robots if we can't get a job to buy our own personal robot? It really gets complicated when there are only a few people with money and everybody else is out of a job. But stop responding to the 9/11 attacks, US. I don't want trademark violations for you guys. What the hell? You're supposed to stop? Okay, your mission's winding down. I'll just turn you off. I'll turn you off. Okay, I'm not turning you off. I'm hopefully turning you on. So, what is the point of all this? The point is this. He who has the gold rules. That's the golden rule. Actually, the golden rule is the key. We need to create a world where we create a new monetary system built on karma and built on equity, not debt. And it isn't interesting that Muslims were taught not to mortgage their future, and the Jews and Christians mortgage their future. Now it's time to bring in the debt, cancel it all, reconsolidate it all, translate it all into equity and the enterprise of the future earth, and share that equity with all of mankind. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode on the history of the future of us.